What will be in fashion in 2026? The main trends have already emerged, and I'm here to show them to you. So, come with me. Number 1 is unique heels, also known as architectural heels. They're back in fashion. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know these heels appeared a few years ago, and it seems like they're coming back in full force in 2026. What's most interesting about these heels is that they add a special touch to the look, a more modern vibe. They can be worn in both winter and summer, but there will be some differences. For example, we'll see more closed shoes in winter and more open shoes in summer. These unique heels are also a great way to bring more personality to your wardrobe, even if it's a simpler one. Remember when I talked here on the channel about essentialism and how it's been showing up in fashion? It's all about owning pieces that reflect your taste. They might look simple or minimalistic at first glance, but when you look closer, there's always a detail, something unique, something that shows your personality. And that's exactly what this type of heel brings. It adds character. But one thing you need to watch out for is comfort. Just because a heel is architectural, different, and beautiful doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable. So, this is the kind of shoe I recommend trying on before buying. I know there are some stunning models online, but if the store doesn't have a solid return policy, I wouldn't recommend buying it because being uniquely shaped, they might not always be the best option when it comes to comfort, and there's no point in having gorgeous heels if you can't walk in them. That's one of the biggest dangers of this shoe style. Other than that, I find it very interesting. As I mentioned, if you have a minimalist wardrobe, I think it's a great idea to add some detail through your heels. It could be something small, a color, a simple shape. I don't recommend ultra-thin heels with fragile details, okay? Because again, there's no point in having a stunning piece that breaks the first time you wear it, leaving you in a situation you didn't want to be in. So just be mindful of that. You know I love to bring you the trends, but I also like to warn you not to waste money or go through uncomfortable situations because that's what really matters, right? Looking beautiful, elegant, and fashionable, but also comfortable and not throwing money away. Number 2, among the top trends for 2026 is the combination of black, white, and more natural tones. This is strongly influenced by the boho trend, which continues into 2026. What we'll see are combinations like black, white, and straw, for example. So we're going to see a modern twist on more natural elements. What you can do is invest in materials made from more natural fibers. Straw is always very present. We also have linen and cotton. For instance, you can go for a black and white dress that uses linen as the main fabric. This will bring that natural feel. As you know, I always recommend linen and cotton here on the channel. They're amazing materials, breathable and comfortable. Even on hotter days, you'll still feel at ease. It's just like with jeans, right, ladies? Even on hot days, if your jeans are 100% cotton, you'll still maintain some thermal comfort, especially if it's not a tight-fitting piece. If it's looser, your skin will be able to breathe. So right off the bat, I'll always recommend natural fibers here on the channel. If you can invest in a linen or cotton shirt, always choose those. But be careful, okay? When we talk about natural fibers, we also need to consider the fabric thickness. If it's too thick, it can also get hot. So depending on where you live and the season you're shopping for, go for something lighter or heavier, depending on your needs. When it comes to pairing with natural tones, we'll see lots of combinations with cream tones, raw cotton, raw linen. You'll also see lots of green shades, pistachio green, leaf green, a huge variety of greens. Browns will also be everywhere. Think chocolate brown, terracotta. There'll definitely be a wide variety and many combinations of nature-inspired tones paired with black and white. One combination I saw last summer that will be very strong is straw with black leather. Black leather brings that sense of elegance and seriousness, while straw brings that natural feel. The same applies to clothing, like a raw or white linen dress paired with a bold black leather belt with a large buckle. This kind of element and combo will be very present in 2026. So keep an eye out when you're browsing or shopping for elements that mix the modern with the natural. Number 3, among the top trends for 2026 is the rise of diverse belts. As the name suggests, we're going to see a wide variety of belts. We'll have thinner belts, wider belts, all kinds of buckles. We'll also see belts that come with some kind of pouch, for example, belts with several small pockets, bringing a cargo-style vibe that will also make an appearance. The idea here is to have a piece that is functional but also creative. Something we'll see frequently is the combination of multiple belts. Maybe it won't be something super common in everyday outfits, But when we think about daily fashion, these belts will definitely show up. They'll be very influenced by boho fashion, usually appearing as wider leather belts with bold and distinctive buckles, again bringing in that essentialist touch and sense of uniqueness. I've noticed that from 2025 to 2026, what we're really seeking in fashion is uniqueness, personal style, that special something that reflects who you are. So, if you have a belt collection, or if you've always wanted to wear belts, go ahead and try adding one to a flowy dress to define the waist. If you enjoy going to thrift stores, love the thrill of the hunt, this is an accessory you can easily thrift if your goal is to be in line with 2026 fashion. I find it very interesting because here we're not talking about a specific print or a single must-have item. We're seeing a broad range of items that embrace all kinds of personal styles. If you love thin belts, you'll be able to wear them. If you prefer big, bold belts with standout buckles, you'll also be able to wear those. So, as you can see, the trends are more open. They're no longer a fixed formula of this item or that item. And that's amazing because each of us can express our personal style. It's perfect, beautiful, modern, totally the face of 2026, right, girls? Number 4 in the 2026 trend list is red, making a comeback as a pop of color, a standout element, especially in bags and shoes, generally bringing a more modern feel. We mentioned earlier the architectural heeled shoes. Now, in 2026, we'll see those shoes also appearing in red. The same goes for bags. If you're someone who loves fashion and spends time browsing online shops, you've probably noticed the huge variety of red handbags available. And when I say red, ladies, you can go for different tones. It might be burgundy, which was strong in 2025, or cherry red, also very popular. You can choose whichever shade of red you like. Oh, and I can't forget to mention 2 other tones that are trending too, tomato red and watermelon red. So yes, there's a red for every taste. Just pick your favorite. I find this use of red as a pop of color very interesting. We could even say that red as a highlight color is timeless. It never goes out of style. I think it's an extremely elegant, creative, and feminine element. For example, when I researched that French-inspired fashion, which, as you know, is a style I love, one thing that's always present is a red item, a beret, a bag, a shoe, or even a small coat. The idea is to add that delicate touch. And since red conveys romance and femininity, why not start incorporating it? If you weren't a big fan of the all-red trend, you know, cherry red everything, big dresses, long coats, and you don't like big, bold pieces but love the details, then now's the time to celebrate. Everything points to 2026 bringing a calmer take on red. It'll appear mostly in accents and accessories. As for me, I hope it stays in fashion because red is a color I absolutely adore. Number 5 in the 2026 trends is elegant transparency. If you've been following the channel, you know I've talked about this transparency before. Here on the channel, I always work to bring you the main trends in advance. So I've been mentioning for months now that transparency is back in full force, but now it's appearing with a more elegant touch. That doesn't mean that if you're a woman whose style leans more towards sensual, you can't keep wearing your transparent pieces. As I always say here, personal style is the most important, but it's worth highlighting that the 2026 transparency trend will be much more sophisticated and elegant. Remember when I showed you those lace skirts that left everything visible underneath and your lingerie was on full display? That's not the face of transparency in 2026. This new transparency comes in layers with softness and is closely tied to boho style, which brings a special charm to it and makes the looks feel more refined. Which pieces should you invest in? Mainly blouses and dresses pieces that usually feature more fluid fabrics and subtle transparency. You'll see layered ruffles that give the look a soft, dreamy touch. It's not that obvious transparency, it might still appear, but it will be much less bold. This kind of softness in transparency also gives a more ethereal, magical air, as if you were looking at a fairy or a princess. Personally, I've been loving these more fluid blouses, and they're already in stores, so it's relatively easy to find them. And since they'll stick around throughout 2026, I think it's an excellent buy, especially if you're a woman who loves the boho vibe, but doesn't resonate with the more caricatured hip chick boho. So maybe you don't like bandana prints, or cowboy boots, or other traditional bohemian elements. You prefer pieces that only hint at the style, that are more classic, more sophisticated. If that sounds like you, this will match your wardrobe perfectly. I like to think that the woman who wears this kind of transparency has a boho, esoteric spirit, but is also very wealthy, you know? She gives off the energy of someone rich, powerful, yet spiritually connected. That's the vibe I get from it. Tell me in the comments what you think. So if this sounds like your style, I think it will match you perfectly. And tell me, are you the kind of woman who loves following trends and already likes to prepare in advance? Or are you someone who doesn't really follow trends? I'd love to know in the comments. And of course, you really help me out by commenting the magic words of the day. Trends 2026. I count on your support to keep bringing you videos every day. While you do that, let's continue with the video. Number 6. Among the top trends for 2026 is vibrant colors appearing in details. If you pay attention, vibrant colors are being pushed aside a bit. It's been a while since we've seen cobalt blue really trending, or bold orange, or strong green. Right now, we're seeing softer tones, and the bright, saturated colors are shifting to small accents. They might show up in bag details or in shoes, but they won't be as prominent in larger garments. That doesn't mean that if your wardrobe is full of bold colors, you need to get rid of everything. I always say here on the channel, the most important thing is to wear what you love and what suits your personal beauty. If you're not someone with a soft beauty, there's no point wearing dusty blue, blush, pink, or pistachio. You'll just look like something is off because your best colors are bold. You look good in orange, bold blue, deep green. So wear what looks good on you. But what happens when you do have soft beauty and still love wearing bold colors? What you can do is embrace this trend where vibrant colors show up in the details. For example, use them on a keychain, a bag, a shoe, or a subtle detail on a blouse. Here's a tip I always share. If you buy a blouse with buttons, you can swap the buttons for ones that match your personality. Let's say you love orange. You can replace the buttons with ones that are orange or have an orange detail. That alone will bring in personality. And let's be honest, it makes the piece way more interesting. Since we're in a big trend of using keychains, I recommend using a more vibrant color in one. It's a great way to add a single pop of color that you can switch between different bags. We're seeing a lot of keychains attached to purses, so you can use just one and rotate it. So yes, there's plenty of room for creativity. Back in 2025, we saw this trend beginning, right? It started with orange showing up in sunglasses, bags, shoes, little accents. The same happened with blue. It made some appearances, but didn't catch on as strongly. So yes, you can wear vibrant colors in 2026, but I recommend using them more in the details, unless of course, you look stunning in those colors. Then go ahead and wear them wherever you like. Number 7 in the 2026 trends is metallic details. This is another trend I've been mentioning on the channel for months now, and it's finally starting to appear in stores, and it's expected to grow a lot in 2026. Here we're talking about spikes, studs, grommets. The idea is to bring texture and metallic elements to our main fashion pieces. What I find most interesting about this trend is that you can even DIY it at home. You can buy a kit with whatever metallic elements you like and apply them to your shoes, bags, pants, or jackets, wherever you prefer. I think this trend strongly resonates with a rising chic rebel aesthetic, which is just beginning to show up and seems to be gaining a lot of momentum. This chic rebel trend has more of a rock and roll vibe. It mixes disconnected, edgy elements, drawing references from grunge, but with more elegant touches. So it might combine combat boots with tailored pieces, or a luxurious leather jacket with a pair of slightly distressed jeans. It's a style that works perfectly with these metallic details. Now, it's important to remember that these metallic accents don't have to be bold or rock-inspired. If you're someone who prefers a more sophisticated or elegant look, these details can be more subtle, maybe just a small touch on a shoe, a bag, a buckle, a tiny accent. So don't feel pressured to wear shoes covered in studs. If that's not your thing, you don't have to. But because metallic elements will be in fashion, it's going to be a lot easier to wear things that are silver, gold, or just slightly oversized in those tones. And that actually connects to the next trend. Number 8 is maximalism in the details. So those of us who love more creative fashion can celebrate because this type of maximalism will be strong but not in an overwhelming way. It won't be the kind of maximalism where you look at someone and see a clash of prints and layers, like a full-on Gucci vibe. No, this is about maximalism in the details. We'll see bold buckles, oversized jewelry, chunky bracelets, statement necklaces, large earrings. These are the kinds of details where maximalism will shine. The same goes for bags and shoes. Expect eye-catching elements on them. Recently, I mentioned the trend of cow print leather. We'll see many bags and shoes featuring this print. It's definitely a statement. Cow print doesn't go unnoticed, and it's a maximalist element, but it will be used strategically in the details. The same goes for large gold or silver accessories like bold cuffs. You probably won't see someone wearing an entirely maximalist outfit. Instead, the look might be simple, minimalist, or basic, but paired with one striking piece like a big silver or gold cuff bracelet. So that's how we'll see maximalism show up in the details. One thing I highly recommend is large earrings. They tend to flatter most women, especially those in leadership roles or anyone who wants to command attention. Big earrings naturally draw the eye. Another fun way to play with maximalism is through bags. Bags can be playful, bold, or different. I always think it's worth investing in a bag with a unique detail because it can totally transform a look. You could be wearing jeans and a basic t-shirt, but if you add a burgundy cargo-style bag full of pockets and buckles, it completely changes your outfit. The same happens with shoes. A pair with cow print instantly transforms your look. So these little touches, I think they bring so much personality. I'm loving this trend. This one I'm definitely going to embrace full force. And if you're enjoying this video, if you love getting fashion trends early and firsthand, you really need to be subscribed to this channel because there's a new video every day about fashion, beauty, and trends, all in real time, so you won't fall behind. You love fashion? Then you need to be subscribed here. While you hit subscribe and turn on the notifications, let's keep going with the video. Number 9 on the 2026 trends list is the handmade trend. This trend, which has already been featured here on the channel, is incredibly cool and interesting. It highlights pieces that look handmade. We'll see a strong presence of straw and raffia, especially in bags, shoes, and accessories. These accessories can also be made using crochet techniques, and within crochet, you can explore unique materials. You can even invest in accessories like belts and earrings, all with that handmade feel. Here, I strongly recommend supporting artisans who make these pieces and buying directly from them. Many times, luxury stores and big brands go to these artisans, pay a tiny fee, and then resell the same item at an absurdly high price. So, it's amazing that nowadays we can use the internet to connect directly with the people who are actually making these items and pay a fair, reasonable price. If you see, for example, a crochet bag or a straw purse and have the chance to buy it directly from the maker, go for it. It's the best choice you can make. As you know, I love to support artisans, both women and men, who create these stunning handmade items. They are true works of art, and they deserve to be valued. A big kiss to all the artisans who follow the channel. Number 10 on the 2026 trends list is the replacement of soft tones with pastel tones. What's the difference, you may ask? They're very similar. Soft tones usually come with a slight grayish tint like pistachio, blush pink, or dusty blue. They're gentle, delicate, toned-down colors. In 2026, pastel tones are making a comeback. They're slightly more vibrant, a bit more playful, and they have a subtle, childlike quality, but still very close to the soft tones. So, if you're a woman with soft features, don't worry, the shades are still flattering for you. What will you notice? You'll see pastel orange, pastel yellow, and a sky blue instead of that dusty, cloudy toned blue. Dusty blue is like the sky on a cloudy morning. Sky blue, which we'll see in 2026, is brighter, more like a clear sky at sunrise. Personally, I think these tones give off a playful delicacy, even a touch of innocence. They won't flatter everyone. I'm just being honest. They can be too youthful or childish for some, but they're great for women with summer coloring. And as I always say on the channel, I want everyone to have options. So, if women with winter features had lots of shopping options in previous years, now it's time for summer beauties to shine. We all know these candy-like, ice cream-inspired colors aren't always trending, but they'll be big in 2026. Let's see how the trend develops throughout the year. I believe it will peak during spring and summer. If these tones flatter you, keep an eye out, start preparing, and maybe even save some money because you'll have more shopping choices, and it's a great opportunity. Personally, these tones don't look great on me. I look better in grayish shades, so I'll skip this trend. It's not on my personal list, but it's definitely going to be strong. So stay tuned, and to get ready for 2026, you'll need to let go of the pieces that are out of style. Want to know which ones? Just click on the video that's showing up on your screen now. See you there!